Hi everyone, I'm David. Welcome to today's class. Retirement tends to be associated with catching early dinners and lounging on the beach. And most importantly, we'll never need to deal with the morning commute again. It almost sounds too good to be true. But while dreaming about the light at the end of the tunnel, have you ever thought of planning for your retirement? Think it's too early? Think again. We're going to talk about two things in today's lesson. First, we'll discuss why we should plan for retirement. And second, we'll go into how to prepare for retirement. It's hard for many people to plan for retirement. It seems so far away. But retirement is more than sunny beaches and relaxing with our spouses. If we are not prepared physically, mentally, and financially, we could be in for a tough life. There are several reasons why we need to carefully plan for our retirement. Today, we'll touch on two of the most important reasons. The first reason is the uncertainty of Social Security and pension benefits. As we all know, the world's populations are continuing to age. This means there are fewer and fewer working-age people to contribute to Social Security. The Social Security Board of Trustees says that Social Security costs in the U.S. will exceed the program's income in 2020. This strain on the Social Security system may cause governments to reduce Social Security benefits, or they may even restrict the benefits only to the very poor individuals. The aging population greatly influences many public pension systems as well, especially in Europe. As more people retire, greater burdens are being placed on the system. And since human longevity today is the highest in human history, there are more people retired than ever before, indicating a much higher level of uncertainty of public pension benefits in the future. For private pension plans, even though they receive little influence from the aging population, they also have their shortcomings. Many people may invest in corporate-sponsored stocks and then use the money they gain for retirement. But a corporate collapse can mean your employer-sponsored stock holdings lose tremendous value or are completely eliminated. This happened to Enron, an American energy company, in 2001. When Enron's stocks were dropping in value, the stock plan subsequently implemented a lockdown period. During this period, participants were not allowed to move Enron stocks from their accounts. The new stock price resulted in a reduction of participants' plan assets by more than $150 million. Another kind of private pension plan is defined benefit pension plans provided by the employer. They are supposed to guarantee retirees a monthly pension, but it's also not 100% safe. These plans do fail once in a while. For example, in 2006, IBM announced a freeze on its defined benefit plan. This meant that the company stopped funding the plan. More companies are following this trend and are letting their employees pay for their pension plans. Because of these uncertainties, employers and the government have become unreliable sources of financing. Instead, individuals are being left with no choice but to take the retirement planning into their own hands. And even if the Social Security system in your country may survive, Social Security benefits will never be enough for retirement. The program is intended to be a bare minimum standard of living for your old age. Without your own savings, you'll find it difficult to really enjoy the rest of your life. China is also facing the problem of an aging population, which is putting heavy stress on the pension system. In China, both employees and employers are required to make contributions to the pension system. Workers contribute a percentage based on their individual wage. Employers contribute a percentage of the total wages paid to their workforce. On retirement, the amount contributed to the pension is paid out monthly over a 10-year period. In addition to this pension, the worker also receives general pension payments until they die. These payments are determined by the number of years of employment, the average wage of their city, and life expectancy. Once workers reach the statutory retirement age, they become eligible for pension benefits. However, one of the biggest problems with the current pension system in China is the legal retirement age. Currently, it's 60 years old for men and 50 years old for women workers in enterprises. For women civil servants, it's 55 years old. These ages were established in the 1950s. Obviously, they are no longer realistic in China, which has an average life expectancy of 75 years. To solve this, the Chinese government has been working on detailed plans for increasing China's legal retirement age. Additionally, the government has been promoting a basic pension for individuals who are not formally employed. This pension requires residents to pay into an individual account for at least 15 years before becoming eligible for a pension on retirement. In addition to uncertain Social Security and pension benefits, old age normally brings medical problems and increased healthcare expenses. Without being financially prepared, you'll have a difficult time covering your medical expenses. This may become increasingly difficult, especially if you have a serious accident. To prevent any illness from eating up your retirement savings completely, you may want to consider obtaining insurance. Medical and long-term care insurance are good options to finance any healthcare needs that may arise. Our course gives an example of what could happen from serious health issues. If he fell down or had a stroke, it could force him to stop working. If that happened, he would have to rely on his savings and other assets to survive. So we know important reasons why we need to plan for retirement. We'll now go into how we should plan. The biggest part of planning for retirement is making sure you are financially prepared. You may be asking the question, how much exactly is enough for my retirement? The answer is that there is no single number that would guarantee everyone an adequate amount. However, it is definitely possible to determine a reasonable number for your own retirement needs. Typically, you'll need about 80% of your current annual salary to maintain your standard of living. To find the right number, you need to consider a number of factors. First, determine the age you want to retire. Second, calculate the current market value of all your savings and investments. Third, calculate the net inflation on your investments. Inflation is about 4% annually. And fourth, estimate the value of your pension plan and Social Security benefits. After you have determined your retirement financial guarantee goal, you'll need to build a nest egg. This means having enough finances to support you and/or your family throughout retirement. Most likely, the largest source of incoming funds you'll receive to build your nest egg is from your employment income. For your retirement plan, write down your annual income and subtract your annual living expenses. The remaining amount represents the income you have at your disposal. A portion of this can be saved for retirement. For example, maybe your annual earnings are $30,000 and your living expenses are $2,000 per month or $24,000 per year. This means you have $6,000 per year of income to contribute to your retirement plan or other desires. Working part-time after retirement is another great way to generate extra income. However, the future of our companies and careers can be unpredictable. We don't know if suddenly our companies will lose business. Let's look at a possible issue that our course addresses. For now, the company is okay, but it's no longer growing as fast as it used to. The company stock may go down, and the value of his home may also fall. When building a nest egg, it's not enough to solely rely on the income from our jobs. Investing our money is also a crucial aspect because normally one's savings are not enough for retirement. And the sooner you start investing your money, the longer it will earn interest. Not only will you have more money when you retire, you'll need to contribute less cash to your retirement as you get older. But we need to know what kinds of investments we will have. There are many different areas we can invest in, and investing for retirement is not exactly the same as investing when we are young. We'll analyze a few options now to help us plan for our retirement. The first option we'll look at is stocks. The stock market is known to be risky. As our course says, investing in real estate or the stock market could be very risky. With the market's potential for huge up and down changes, retirees are often reluctant about keeping their money in stock. But despite the risks, stocks are still a good option for retirees to consider. One advantage of investing in stocks is diversification. Diversification is a way to manage risk by spreading your money out over a range of investment types. The idea is to put your money in investments that are likely to head in different directions at any given time. Another reason is that stocks offer higher returns than other common investments. The historical average stock market return over long periods of time is around 7%. This is better than other investment types. Additionally, stocks are more resilient to inflation than bonds and other investments. Stocks also provide dividends. A dividend is a distribution of company's earnings paid out to its shareholders. If you pick the right stocks, not only do the stocks themselves increase in value, but you can get a regular payout in the form of dividends. Another type of investment is annuities. An annuity is a fixed sum of money one receives regularly. A person makes payments to a certain party, like a life insurance company, for a certain period of time. The person will then receive that money regularly after they retire. The purpose of annuities is to make sure one has enough money to support themselves before they die. One program that is gaining popularity in China is a house for pension plan. According to one survey, more than 70% of elderly people in Shanghai are open to a house for pension program. Under this program, an elderly person who owns a housing property could deed it to an insurance company or bank. The insurance company or bank would then determine the value of the property and the person's life expectancy. The person would then receive a fixed sum of money every month. Once the individual receives the amount of money stated in the contract, ownership of the property would then be transferred to the insurance company or bank. While financial preparation is important, it is not the only thing we need to prepare. Some retirees still feel depressed even if they are financially stable. Why might this be? It may be because they have completely overlooked an important part of preparing for retirement. That is, preparing mentally. One might say that mental preparation is easy or even unnecessary. But think about how drastically your life will change after you retire. In order to adapt mentally to your new life, you need to take a close look at certain areas of your life. First, you'll need to look at your identity. Your identity is who you are to yourself and the world. Your career is one part of your identity. When people retire, some of them feel like they lose their identity, since they aren't happy seeing themselves as simply a retiree. One CEO even said that he felt empty after retirement because he hadn't thought about his new identity. Having an identity can help add structure and meaning to your life after you retire. One part of forming an identity is determining your purpose or passion. You may have several goals that you couldn't accomplish in your earlier years for one reason or another. Just like organizations have mission statements, giving yourself one can bring you a sense of purpose once you retire. Another thing you'll need to mentally prepare for is how your relationships will change. When you leave work, the people who you worked with will no longer be a part of your everyday life. Because of this, it's a good idea to develop new relationships. To do this, you can try engaging in various activities like volunteering or joining a health club. Your relationship with your family members will also change. It's also the perfect opportunity to spend more time with your children and grandchildren. But your relationship with your spouse may change since you'll most likely be spending more time together. This may cause some issues, like getting annoyed with each other about minor things. So make sure you communicate effectively about these issues. Something else to be considered for retirement is lifelong learning. Many people understand the importance of staying physically active when retired, but exercising our brains is just as important. Through lifelong learning, we can continue to keep our minds healthy even in old age. There is a new international movement called the University of the Third Age, or U3A. The aim of U3A is to provide education for retirees. Courses include arts, computers, science, and languages. There are also less educationally focused activities like theater and dance. Each country has its own model for how retirees learn. Canada is one country that highly promotes lifelong learning. In Canada, the government has a lifelong learning plan that funds residents for lifelong learning. The idea behind this is to ensure retirees can live out the rest of their lives happily and meaningfully. So why is lifelong learning important for retirees? Studies have shown a number of reasons. A study was done on retirees aged 55 to 70 to investigate the effects of U3A educations. Researchers compared retired participants who engaged in U3A education and those who didn't. The results showed that those who engaged in U3A education gained improved memory functioning, better emotional balance, and more health awareness. Further studies have even shown that keeping the brain stimulated in older age via lifelong learning can prevent brain diseases such as Alzheimer's. That's all for today about retirement. Let's quickly review what we've learned today. We talked about two things in today's lesson. First, we discussed why we should plan for retirement. We touched on the uncertainty of Social Security and pension benefits, as well as potential health problems. And second, we went into how to prepare for retirement. We'll have to prepare both financially and mentally. Maybe now you are in the prime of your life. Maybe life feels so good at the moment that you don't have a care in the world. But don't forget, retirement planning is of vital importance to a person's life. I'll see you next class. Bye.